Hi, guys.
Hi,
This is Goop Yourself, the podcast where we talk about everything goop. I'm Brian Rucker.
I'm Aggie Hewitt.
I was so desperate for caffeine and I don't have any coffee, so I'm actually drinking some Diet Coke.
I love Diet Coke. Uh, you just had it in your house?
John will sometimes get a 2-liter bottle, like if he's ordering
Oh,
food delivery, he'll add a little
yeah.
liter of Diet Coke to the order. So we had some.
Not bad. Not bad.
No, I hadn't had soda in so long. And then I actually got Diet Coke the other day too. My mom was in town and she was staying at a hotel and I didn't want to drink at like 10 in the morning by the pool. So I got a Diet Coke.
Very responsible of you.
Very responsible.
Well, I just got back from a full physical.
How'd it go?
It went great. She told me she was like doing my breast exam, which they do when you get a physical. And she was like, there's really no point in doing this, but I do it anyway. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, even if you found something at this point, I'm sorry, this might be like incredibly disturbing for me to just like launch into a cancer thing. If anyone is listening,
Trigger warning.
Cancer.
Warning.
I just realized I just like was like launching into this. But she was like, by the time we find it, it's like pretty advanced if we're doing this. So like it doesn't really matter. She's like, and I was like, well, what do you do? And she's like, mammogram, but you don't need to get a mammogram. You're too young. So humble brag, too young for mammogram still. And I was like, thank you. And she was like, yeah. And then she just told me like, we really can't catch, like, there's a ton of stuff. Like we really can't catch anything. She just told me that. She's like,
that's horrifying.
And she said that she was from Korea, and like in Korea, they have like people will go and get like every single scan for everything you could possibly get. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to go to Korea. And she was like, no, because the return is so low and you end up getting so much radiation that it's like not even worth it. And people will just like freak out about, these things, and they're like almost always fine. So it's just like, there's no point. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, you have to strike a balance. I feel like if you have, I don't know. I mean, it is weird because there are like, I feel like women in their 30s do get breast cancer. It's not like unheard of.
Of course. I mean, men in their 30s can get, everybody.
Yeah.
It can happen, but I think it's just like they make their guidelines based on statistics and like when you're most likely to need it or whatever. And you just kind of have to trust the guideline. I think she thinks I might be a little bit of a hypochondriac, and I might be.
That's her job. Like, your doctor should not, I don't know. They should encourage you to ask as many questions as possible, I think.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I think I told you, like, because I have this like Kaiser app, like I will just like take pictures of like anything I find on my body and like send it to the app and be like, have the doctor call me, and then they'll just like say like, this looks like a spider bite or something. Like it's always never anything, but I'm like, so I have a lot of things and I tell them everything. Like if I have one hair out of place, like my doctor hears about it.
Better to be safe than sorry, I think.
It's like I'd rather have my doctor think I'm annoying than,
Yeah. Because then they know also when you come in next, it's like they have to be on their toes and like they can't, especially if you do a little research, on WebMD or Goop or however you get your
Doctors love nothing more than when you come and tell them what's wrong with you because you read it on WebMD.
I did not go to the doctor this week, but I did get a very strange injury.
What was it?
I was at the park, barefoot. I stepped on a bee. Stepped on a bee and got stung on the bottom of my foot.
I have done that twice.
This is the first time I'd ever done that. And I was just at the park, like down the block from my house, reading a book. And for the first 15 minutes, I literally thought I was going to have to call John and tell him to like drive the car a block and pick me up because I didn't think I'd be able to walk home one block.
It hurts really bad.
It hurts really bad for like 15 minutes. And then it stopped hurting and I could walk. But then I hadn't been stung by a bee since I was a kid. And the swelling, it kept swelling for like the next couple days. And then of course I checked WebMD and that seemed normal. I was like, do I have a latent bee allergy? Am I going to be like Macaulay Culkin in My Girl? Like, what's going to happen
That
to
was
me?
a whole beehive.
That's true. And then I also thought, I didn't see the bee. It could have been a scorpion for all I know. You know,
You didn't see the bee?
I didn't see the bee. No, I assume it's a bee because I just assume that's what it is. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a spider. Maybe it was a scorpion. Maybe it was a horrible ant. But I think it was a bee sting.
Stinger?
No, I saw the little hole in my foot. I didn't pull out a stinger. But it seemed like a bee sting.
Yeah. Wow. Yes, that happened to me. That happened to me at Camp JCA Shalom.
Oh no.
Here.
You sure it wasn't Hamas?
No,
Sorry,
it definitely wasn't
that might be an
Hamas.
inappropriate joke. I retract
They
that joke.
probably would have told me it was. They probably told me it was. But no, it was a bee. But it happened to me there, and then I think it happened to me one other summer as a kid. Step at the pool.
Oh, yeah.
Nightmare.
Those things are. And the bee. We went through a good decade where bees were in danger. We heard all about it, but I think they're back. I think they're back in full force.
Yeah, bugs are out there right now.
Oh my God. This is like, there's so many like different seasons of animals in LA. This is high cockroach season, which is so disgusting.
Don't say that. Please don't say that to me. I can't hear that right now.
I
can't hear that right now.
Well, pretend I didn't say it. Just on my nightly walks, I just see them all over the place outside.
Because I haven't seen any, and I have, as you know, I have gotten them in my apartment.
Well, it's the weather change. I think it was last weekend was it last weekend that was very hot? I forget. But a few days ago it was like pretty hot into the 90s, and that's those nights it's like they're all coming out.
I love the heat. I hate them so much. Fuck them. Fuck them all. Oh my God, I hate cockroaches so much.
So everything's fine. You got blood work?
I had a liver panel because I had she was like going through and she was like, you have had so many blood tests in like the last year. Cause it's like, I would like crawl through COVID.
I don't think you had that many blood tests.
Well, this is actually one for Goop. I should talk to Gerda about this. So my first doctor appointment back, I may not even have been vaccinated yet. I probably was. No, I have no idea. My first one back was gynecologist. You got to get that checked out.
Yeah.
They do the pap smear, And I was like, I have been diagnosed with PCOS. And my gynecologist was like, okay. And she was like, why do you think? And they always ask me why. And I'm like, I'll tell you exactly why. I was diagnosed based on my symptoms at the Chicago Women's Health Clinic in Chicago, Illinois. I had a blood test. They told me that was what it was. I told a rude male gynecologist here in LA. Actually, I was hiding my diagnosis from him because I didn't want to tell my insurance. He told me that I had it without doing blood work. And he was like, I don't need to do blood work. I already know. I was like, okay, whatever. My next gynecologist also told me, she also showed me with an ultrasound cysts all over my ovaries. Sorry, Brian, I know you don't like to hear that, but it's true. During COVID, I froze my eggs, as we all know. Again, ultrasound saw ovaries completely covered in cysts. Excuse me, everybody. That's what I'm working with here.
You're a regular Lena Dunham. Is that what she has, or she had something else?
Well, no, because ovarian cysts are like not as big a deal. She had it in like her uterus or something because she had a hysterectomy, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. These are like benign and like it's like kind of common. So I told the endocrinologist, I was like, I told my gynecologist, she's like, okay. I was like, I want to tell the endocrinologist because I want to go on metformin, which is like this drug for it. She's like, okay. The endocrinologist got me a full Will Cole style panel of like every fucking hormone you have in your body, like so much blood work, 100% normal.
Really?
Everything down the line was fully normal.
So what does that means? You don't have.
So I don't. have it. And I've been like thinking I had it for literal years. Like the first time someone told me I had this, I think I was like 23 or 24.
Wow.
I've just been like, yeah, I have it. And every gynecologist has been like, oh yeah, you're like a classic PCOS. Or they'll like do the ultrasound. They'll be like, oh wow, like the reproductive endocrinologist was like, oh yeah, that's a classic PCOS ovary. Like they were like, it's iconic PCOS. And I was like, I know, thank you. And they told me no. So this endocrinologist was like, no, you don't. So then today I talked to my doctor and she was like, well, it's not like a cut and dry diagnosis. So like there are people who have like symptoms and blood work. She was like, really, to get it, you kind of have to have both. Like you need the blood work and the symptoms, because there are people in the general population who have the symptoms that don't have PCOS. And she was like, but you're getting conflicting diagnoses because they like doctors are kind of divided on it.
Wow.
So it's a very gray area. The end.
So is that are you relieved, or are you frustrated that you were misdiagnosed? Or
well, I'm a little frustrated because there are symptoms that I would like to be,
Lyme. It's Lyme.
care of.
It's Lyme.
It's Lyme. It's probably chronic Lyme.
It has to be.
Anyway, it's annoying that like I have all these symptoms, but like I don't have it. I was a little annoyed that the endocrinologist was sort of like condescending and cut and dry about it and was just like, no. And then I was just like, you know what? Shut up. Like I've been told by other endocrinologists that I do have it. Anyway, but then I guess I'm sort of relieved because maybe, I mean, it really makes no difference in my life one way or the other. I still have ovarian cysts. I still have like excruciatingly painful periods, but maybe that's why I don't have the absolute worst one. The worst symptom of it, which is male pattern baldness.
Oh yeah. That's something to be thankful for.
Yeah. I'm really thankful not to have that bad boy, but I have other stuff.
Interesting. So yeah, it's like you're sort of relieved, but then now you don't know what is causing your symptoms necessarily.
Yeah, but it's like, who cares? I mean, I'll be menopausal and it'll be lost. Like, it doesn't matter.
Did you read the Menopause Manifesto by Dr. Jen Gunter?
Of course not. First of all, I don't read Gunter.
She's been making all the rounds on social media promoting this book.
Everyone knows I don't read anything about menopause. It makes me too upset. True, yeah. Tell me what
I haven't read a thing. I was so mad because I do follow her on Instagram. I don't know if I follow her on my personal account or we follow her on Goop Yourself, or probably both. But it said Dr. Jen Gunter is going live with Jen Adjacent. But I didn't get the notification till after, and it didn't keep I was like so excited to see if Jen Adjacent is real, who Jen Adjacent is, what they look like. But then by the time I saw she deleted the Instagram live, so I didn't get to see it.
Classic catfishing.
Yeah, but Jen Adjacent now has his or her or their own Instagram account, but I didn't follow them because they only had 19 followers, and I felt like it would be too obvious if I followed.
It's like when you didn't want to follow Gerda.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I did not listen to Jen's second podcast episode all about poop, which sounds just like I don't need to listen to that.
Needs any of it.
But apparently it's the #1 podcast in Canada.
Bully for her. Yeah. What am I supposed to do with that information? I already listened to the Dr. Jen podcast of my own, which was, I talked to a rude endocrinologist, and I went to the normal doctor, and they just gave me your cut and dry fucking like, conservative, normal, like peer-reviewed medical, their expertise. Like I got it. Like, I'm not, what am I doing with it? What is this for? Who is this for?
Yeah. I
have a doctor. For my entertainment, I want something that's actually entertaining, Gwyneth Paltrow, something like that.
Yeah, medical advice should be entertaining above all else, I think.
Well, if it's a podcast.
Oh yeah, on her podcast. Well, yeah, I mean, we've been over
Unless
this,
it's set
but
up by like the government or something, or like I don't know.
because she is doing exactly the same thing that Goop or any of these other people are doing, is giving unsolicited medical advice to the
Exactly.
masses. Yeah. We don't need to go. Yeah, everyone knows our stance on this woman.
Yeah, but just so you know, like we haven't backed down and we still feel that very much feel that way.
Oh yeah, and she still hasn't responded to me on Twitter, but it's probably, you're right, that she only sees responses from blue checks. So
Just from the people she wants to.
living in her own little bubble.
That's right.
I wonder if
Exactly.
Chrissy Teigen has talked to her recently, since she's gotten quasi canceled. I don't know.
She's back.
Is she? I know she left and then she came back, and for some reason I guess I don't follow her on Twitter, but I usually, like, you end up seeing her stuff. I haven't seen anything since the Courtney Stodden controversy.
Oh, that was why she got quasi canceled.
No.
I feel like if someone did something on social media and has a huge follower count and nobody cared that much, it's like you have to move on as a society. Like we can't go and be like, we should have canceled you harder for that. We're going to do it again.
Yeah. Life's too short
To keep canceling people over and over again.
Oh yeah, the Kevin Spacey is going to be in a new movie directed by Vanessa Redgrave's husband. So they're trying to cancel Vanessa Redgrave now.
Wow.
But she, I guess, had to make a statement saying she has no involvement in this movie.
Well, whatever. Or Vanessa Redgrave.
She doesn't know what's going on. She's like, has to be in her 90s.
How old is this director?
He's her husband, so I imagine he's pretty old. He's some Italian. I didn't even know she was married to some Italian director, but he is doing a new movie, and it's Kevin Spacey's first big part in a long time.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I love when like canceled people make movies. And they're like really weird and bad.
Okay. Yeah, because just the quality of the movie tends to go way down, like the sort of,
yeah, it's like the Rifkin's festival effect where it's like the only people they can get to like, which like I did watch, and like the only people they can get to be in these movies now like are like weird like residents of San Sebastian who like won a contest or something. Not, and like what's his name, like Wallace Shawn, like that's it.
Yeah, I mean, Rifkin's Festival is the newish Woody Allen movie that Aggie has had the pleasure of seeing. I have not done the torrent yet to watch it, but Wallace Shawn, Gina Gershon, these are the people. I mean, they're great actors, but it's like either you're sort of comfortable enough with your own career to not care what people think.
Yeah,
you have your own sort of little niche. I haven't seen the Allen versus Farrow documentary, but I do hear it's quite damning.
I hear it's quite compelling as well. The Wallace Shawn is a genius, like I think, but I'm talking more about like the other people, like everyone who plays, like, like just like there are a lot of other parts. There's like Gina Gershon is like having an affair with this like director. It's just like they're, whatever, like just like every
it's a Woody Allen movie. Yeah,
whatever. It's like if you haven't heard of them, they're like a San Sebastian local, I think.
Sure.
Maybe I'm insulting someone, but probably not.
Any Goop news? Gwyneth news?
I mean, I've been so preoccupied with my own health.
Sure. I did find one really entertaining op-ed. These British op-eds are so funny to me.
Okay.
From like, it's like either the Daily Mail or the Daily Sun or the Telegraph. This one is, I had to like actually sign up for an account. Yes, this is from the Telegraph. And they wouldn't let me read the article unless I like signed up for a Telegraph account, and they're giving me 24 hours of free access to the Telegraph. So I got to binge read everything else I want to read.
Wow.
But this is the fashion editor named Tamara Abraham, and she wrote an op-ed called "I Know Why Gwyneth Paltrow's London Goop Boutique Failed." And then the sub headline or whatever is just called, it just says, "We Brits just aren't goopy enough to buy into it."
Oh, God, spare me.
And
Spare me.
she,
Spare me from the country that, first of all, well, maybe not invented, but still has a royal family, A. B, a royal family where the future king has been forcing them to have homeopathy and their fucking public healthcare option. They're the goopiest country. They're the most elite bullshit country on the planet.
yeah, I mean, I think it's like there's like an aesthetic sort of barrier. It's like yeah, Brits are just as goopy, just as enamored of pseudoscience as Americans, but it's just the style is a little different. So I don't know if the Goop brand translates as well there.
See, I think that Gwyneth like really gets her style, especially like interior design from like London. It's like very like Notting Hill, like her whole vibe.
Yeah, well, that's the neighborhood where the Goop boutique was in Notting Hill. Apparently, I mean, another article said it was like a £1 million failure, which doesn't seem like very much. It just is like, oh yeah, store closed. That would probably cost about £1 million or whatever.
Yeah.
But
for breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. So and I don't know London very well. So this lady says it was at a fancy end of Westburn Grove along the same stretch as Dalesford Organic, James Purse, and Orla Bar Brown. So those are all, I guess, fancy stores.
Yeah, I don't know James.
There were lots of things I would have purchased if I'd had the same kind of disposable income as many Notting Hill residents. Alas, I don't. So I left empty-handed. Sorry, you're the fashion editor of the Telegraph. I'm sure you could get any of the stuff for free, right?
I don't know how that shit works, but you and I have both purchased things from the Goop store. So we have less money than this bitch. So
yeah.
And not the bitch.
No. You're just saying that.
Calling everyone everything. I just mean we have less money than this woman. Or a man or a person.
But in truth, of all the Notting Hill residents I've known over the years, I can only think of one woman who might be inclined to shop there on a regular basis. Everyone else is too sensible, for lack of a better word, to hope that a 58-pound jade yoni egg or a 15-pound coloring book, spelled with a U, might change their life.
Also, like, what about that Oscar Wilde story? Is it Oscar Wilde? The Oscar Wilde short story about the haunted house, and it's in that one, it's the Americans who are too sensible, where it's like the ghosts keep trying to scare the American family, but they're like too sensible and like hickish to like care. So they just like if it's drafty, they just like, they're like, oh, we got to fix the heater or whatever. Like they're just
that's really funny.
It's cute. Yeah. So
that is cute.
Times have changed.
So then she has a little anecdote from a source that I think paints this person in sort of a bad light. It ends up seeming like a bit of a Karen situation. She says one local said it was the staff who put her off buying a pelvic floor exercise device. She had gone in to browse with a friend, and the pair, both in their mid-40s, were joking about the sex toys. As she approached the cashier to pay, her friend glimpsed a sales associate gesturing with her finger in a circular motion at her head, indicating that she was, quote unquote, cuckoo. Both were mortified and humiliated. And when the store manager, so meaning she asked to speak to the manager, denied that it had even happened, they canceled the sale and left. Two best friends laughing about intimate self-care should be the ultimate safe space, she later told me. Hormonal, middle-aged women, Goop's target market, are very fragile.
Oh, no.
Yep.
I'm sorry. So they were in there joking about the sex toy, and then the woman who worked in the store did a cuckoo gesture.
Allegedly did a cuckoo thing. I mean, I'm sorry, if you're working retail, I sort of doubt. I don't know. Maybe it's true. Who knows? Because like if you're working retail, I could you sometimes are like slightly making fun of the customers, and you're pretty smart enough to not do it in front of them. So I bet you that person was referencing something completely separate that was cuckoo.
My guess is, yeah, is that, or like they either read too much into it or it didn't really happen, or she was like trying to play along. Like, sorry, but like if you want to go into a store and make a big to do about LOLing at a fucking dildo that you saw, you have to be able to take a little heat coming back
Yeah.
your way. Like if we're joking around, it's like, I'm sorry, like what? And it's like, I'm sorry, these women are too hormonal to be able to handle this. That's
Yeah.
sexist.
And then it goes on. So the manager of the store didn't do anything. But it goes on. To Goop's credit, she says the headquarters response to her email complaint, so she goes up the ladder even further,
far
was amazing. And a phone conversation with the head of retail restored her faith in the Goop brand. It goes without saying, so Goop had to actually comment on this. It goes without saying that we would never want anyone to feel this way, a PR representative said. Our team worked quickly to rectify the situation and be sure it didn't happen moving forward. And our head of retail implanted any learnings with the team. So I think
I do not know what that means, but that's fine.
I don't know, but I think this person got someone fired.
Her dream came true.
Yep. So
wow. So that should be, oh God. I'm sorry. So they had a good experience because they got this woman fired because they thought she made a cuckoo gesture when they were joking about the sex toys.
About Vibrate. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but most people that go into the Goop store are doing it at least semi-ironically. Like it's a fun space. And obviously I just think everyone, it seems you seem like you're joking around with your friends, but if it's someone in the service industry who you perceive as being like lower than you that tries to like get in on the fun or like or be a little
or just like be a human being, like to dare to behave like any normal human being would in that sort of situation. Like if you go into a store and you're acting like an asshole and you're like, oh my God, like dildos, lol, blah, blah, blah. Like whatever the person working does, unless they're like, put that down, you bitch, or something, unless they're like, don't make fun of the dildos, like unless they get mad.
Yeah.
Or are just like actually cruel to you in some like in some very clear way. But like if they see you like acting foolish and like they do a little gesture like, oh my God, they're being so crazy right now. Like you are being crazy. Like you're playing with dildos in a store. You're being crazy. Like just own it and be like, yeah, we're being silly.
Yeah.
Who cares if someone does a cuckoo thing? Like we're acting cuckoo like that. We're having fun. Like it's fine.
And yeah, unless they're doing it like really maliciously and meaning for you to get hurt, just ignore it. Like how, like this person is making whatever minimum London wages, I don't know. And then you're like calling the manager and then emailing a complaint to like the head of retail to make sure that this person gets punished.
I mean, can you imagine calling the head of Goop Retail and saying like, the employee at your store saw me joking around about a dildo, and then she lifted her finger, her temple, and made a cuckoo gesture, and I demand she be fired.
And then not only are you going to do that, then you're going to talk to your friend who's a journalist at a nationally distributed newspaper and so tell your story.
Like, access, you have some privilege there.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, this cuckoo gesture is the most mistreated you've ever been in your life. I guess it's the biggest trauma you've ever had to experience.
I know. It's like some people just like don't go through enough in their life. And then like these middle-aged women are so sensitive. Like a lot of middle-aged women are like working retail. Like they're behind the counter and they don't get to complain to anybody. Like they just have to absorb the shit of you people, you like rich fucks.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Like who's going to protect this poor girl?
I don't know.
She's I don't know how old she is.
No, I'm sure it was Yeah, it was probably like a young person working for, working retail wages that wanted to just have a little levity in her life and lightly make fun of these annoying women that come in the store. And then she was fired, but at least she lives in the UK, so she can get on the dole, which is my just absolute dream.
I know. I think I technically could. I want to just pack my bags and go to England and go down the dole.
Yeah, you should. I mean, why? What is stopping you?
I don't know. What am I doing here? Well, I think it's like, I don't know. I saw like some of those houses are really gross and like a lot of England is really depressing.
Yeah, sure. I would like to take advantage of my Jewish birthright and go, but only if Israel gets moved to Central Europe, where it should have been to begin with.
I know. I've always thought I always wish that it was in Vienna. Like
exactly.
What if got Vienna?
The Germans, the Austrians are the ones that did the Holocaust. They should not. The Jews should get a homeland there, not in the Middle East.
Be gone, and they should have to go. Well, I don't know. They can leave. And then we would get to have like, oh my God, we would be like drinking hot chocolates and like looking at the architecture, and we'd be like, Mozart is ours. And like, we'd just be like living the life.
Tel Aviv on the Rhine. It would be amazing.
Oh my God. Who would not want that?
I mean, they really fucked up in 1946.
They fucked up really bad. Yeah.
And I don't want to make light of the
well,
Palestinian cause. Well, I am making light of it, but I just want to state for the record, I am pro-Palestine, and
thanks.
I just want to state that for the record to be public about it. Okay, shall we move on?
Okay.
Well, I guess we'll just move on to the old newsletters.
All right.
What was your best of the week?
My best of the week is myself, because I've been working out. And I'm proud of it. Yeah. I have been going to a workout studio in real life. And I was just reading the like new Goop newsletter that was like all about how to sweat. And I was like, I'm going to put myself, like, I don't need this because like I'm already doing it.
Are you going to it's a bar studio, or?
It's a bar studio.
Nice.
Yeah. Here in LA. It's a national chain. And I feel like $1 million. Like I feel so much better being able to like actually go and work out. It's so lovely.
Yeah. Just being able to exercise. It really, I mean, I'm not saying any new information here, but just the amount of serotonin it releases when you work out a little bit makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Do you have to like wear a mask while you're inside the whole time?
Yes.
Is that tough, exercising with the mask on?
Actually, it's fine. I mean, you can take it off to like take a sip of water or something. Mm-hmm. But it's like, you're so used to it that it really makes no difference. Like I'm so used to wearing the mask, but I think it's like, it would be harder to like go for a hike in the mask, but like, at least it's like all like inside. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like temperature control.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of like, there's nothing else. Like there's no like dirt or dust or sun or like, you know what I mean? It's just clean.
It's a controlled environment, and like we're so trained now to wear masks indoors. I could see how it just wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, it's like not a big deal at all.
That's exciting.
I know, it's like so thrilling. Like it was so thrilling to like go into the studio and like, I don't know, do it. It also felt like kind of bad. Like, wow, like I'm like a Republican. Like I'm like going into the workout place. But I was like, I didn't go until after I was fully vaccinated, and it's like, and I'm wearing masks, and I think it's fine.
Yeah, you're safe. Yeah, that was like my Musso and Frank dinner the other night. Was a real indoor dining experience, which I think that was the first one I had done.
Wow.
And it felt great. The guy, our waiter was like, it's good to be back. And we were like, it's good to be back. And then he sat us in what he claims was the Joe DiMaggio Marilyn Monroe booth.
I think that
I think they tell that to everyone.
Did you have a martini?
I had a Gibson.
What's that?
It's just a martini with a cocktail onion instead of an olive.
Oh, interesting.
And I got a schnitzel and some crab Louis. It's great.
Ooh, wow. You ordered some interesting things.
Yeah. I'm not a big steak person. I really am not. I don't know. I'm sure it was great.
Did your mom get a steak?
My mom got a ribeye. John got a chicken parmesan. So we all tasted each other's meals a little bit. So everything was good.
Oh, how was the chicken parmesan?
It's great. Really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Really, really tasty.
What's a crab Louis? Is a crab Louis cold?
Yeah. So it usually the crab Louis that I am used to is like a crab, like a cold crab salad with Louis dressing. I thought is usually like a Thousand Island type of dressing.
Yeah.
But this one was more of like a green goddess. It tasted a lot like it was a lot of tarragon in there, so it was different than the Louis I'm used to, but it was still very good.
Yeah.
My favorite crab Louis salad in LA is the one at the Magic Castle.
I'm the only person I know who's never been to the Magic Castle.
I went once. It was enough. I don't need to ever go again.
I just no one's ever brought me, but I guess I'm a fucking loser.
And who knows if it'll ever reopen, because they had the weren't there just like a bunch of horrible assault?
Yeah, I mean, that whole world is
Yeah.
so much more it's like more toxic than comedy. Like, it's really bad.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting distracted again. My brain I'm not able to focus right now. I'm out of Nerd Alert. I think I'm going through Nerd Alert withdrawals.
I think so too.
But I'm really happy for your exercise. I really want to take an actual yoga class. I'm going to try to do that soon.
Yeah, you got to go in. It's like such a different vibe to be in a studio.
Yeah. Was it like full capacity, or were there still like
max capacity?
Max capacity. Wow.
But it's not like, I mean, it's a pretty small class. So.
Yeah.
And they have like, everyone is like taped, like they have like tape on the floor, and like you go to like your section and like no one can go in each other's like little area.
Okay.
And they have like all the equipment set up for you, and then you just like leave it there when it's done, and they like sterilize everything in between classes. Like, it felt very safe.
I'm sure. And then June 15th, pure chaos. All masks off.
Are they doing masks off on June 15th?
I think, except for like airplanes and maybe a couple other exceptions. But yeah, I think like restaurants and regular indoor activities, movie theaters, I think it's all over June 15th, from what I understand.
All right. Well, I'll see you at the movies.
Yeah. All right. My best this week was the interview, and I was going to listen to the Beauty Closet podcast, and then I forgot to listen to it. So I haven't listened to the whole podcast yet, but the founder of Vintner's Daughter, the biggest cult beauty product, of which I am now a member of the cult, was interviewed on the Beauty Closet with Megan and Jean. And her interview was, published in Goop. So it was just fun to hear what this, generational genius has to say about Goop and all of the questions that she's asked.
What did she have to say?
Well, her name's April Gargiulo. And apparently she's a hilarious, gorgeous Northern Californian mother of two. And she didn't set out to create a worldwide obsession, but she does do things very, very differently.
Does she now? Yeah.
Such as she stops at nothing in pursuit of what she considers the ultimate luxury, clean skincare that truly changes almost any complexion. So I really do need to listen to the podcast to see if she's sort of taking herself very seriously, or she has a dry wit, because I couldn't really tell from these written answers.
Usually it's not the dry wit.
Yeah, usually it's not.
But you never know.
Because she's asked, how often do you recharge your crystals? And she says, they are buried in the ground around my property, so never. What she would
how you recharge them.
Oh, yeah, that's true, right? Recharging them is
I
burying
think
them
you
in the
have to
ground.
bury them in a full moon or something.
I don't know. God, I did go through a little bit of a crystal phase when I moved here, and now I haven't even looked at the crystals I bought in years.
Um, yeah, I never really went through much of a crystal phase, although I do like a rose quartz, but I think in
Yeah.
general, like I don't really
It
believe
just stressed me out, like spending money on garbage.
it's such a waste of money. I mean, they're pretty, I guess.
Yeah. What wouldn't you leave home without? Her very creative answer is Vintner's Daughter Active Botanical Serum and Vintner's Daughter Active Treatment Essence.
She doesn't leave her home without that.
I guess not. She has them in her. I mean, she owns it, so I guess she can have as much as she wants. Her first job was working as a dishwasher in a fancy restaurant. Because apparently she's a native of Napa, California. So there's lots of fancy restaurants around there.
Which fancy restaurant it was?
I wonder, maybe Thomas Keller French Laundry. Who knows?
I mean, that would be a very fancy restaurant.
Baths or showers? Showers. In an effort to reduce my plastic usage, I have been experimenting with lots of bars lately, from shampoo to body lotion. And then Goop has a bunch of bars you can buy.
I think that's intriguing. I must say.
I use like a bottle for shampoo or whatever, but I love it. Just a Dove moisturizing bar. I never really got into the body wash thing.
Yeah, I just find the idea of like washing your hair with like a bar sounds like really cool.
Yeah. Drink of choice, tea. I drink it all day long. Great. I'll skip a few of these. Oh, here's a weird one. Current Goop shop obsessions. Now, Goop sells thousands of items. What do you think her obsession is? Which item, besides it's not Vintner's Daughter, which thing do you think she's obsessed with?
I think she likes the mat that you lie down on.
Good guess, but no. She likes the Kamado-san Donabi rice cooker.
Oh my God, my jaw hit the fucking ground.
Which I think this might have been one where she didn't have a good answer. So they're just like, just say the Donabi.
They probably paid her to say it. They
Yeah.
were like, we'll give you $50 if you say your favorite thing on the website is the Donabi.
Her favorite celebrity crush, or her first celebrity crush, is Jake from 16 Candles.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm too young to even know what that means.
that is not true.
Oh, favorite movie. I rarely watch a movie more than once, but I have a soft spot for Hope Floats.
That's weird.
I mean, we can't all be cinephiles, I guess.
I guess, but I mean, I haven't even thought about. I mean, 16 Candles I'll give you, but Hope Floats.
Hope Floats. That's Sandra Bullock is on a boat. I've never seen it.
I only know what like the cover looks like, but I know Sandra Bullock is in it.
Yeah, is she? I'm just picturing her like on a raft floating along a river, but I don't know if the floats is literal
like
or it's a metaphor.
Maybe her name is Hope, her character, and she floats so happy in love with whoever the guy is.
Is it Ryan Reynolds? It just is.
I feel like it's pre Ryan Reynolds.
Huh.
I'm gonna look this up now.
Who would be the male lead in Hope Floats if it's not Ryan Reynolds? I can't even picture pre Ryan Reynolds Sandra Bullock movie.
You can't. Ryan Reynolds is a new celeb in my world. Sandra Bullock has been making movies for a really long time.
Yeah, no, true. I just can't picture who would be in that movie besides Ryan Reynolds. I'll never know. Go to weeknight recipe. My family says I never cook the same thing twice, but if I do cook, it's almost always in a Donabi.
Whoa.
Two
Harry
Donabi
Connick
answers.
Jr.
Who is it?
Harry Connick Jr.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
I told you old. And Gina Rowlands.
She's the mom, I assume.
I would assume.
Good for her. Favorite book. Here's a weird one. So she doesn't like movies, but she does like to read because her favorite book is Infinite Jest.
Her favorite Hope Floats. Her favorite food is anything cooked in the Donabi, and her favorite book is Infinite Jest.
Yeah, I've never heard of a woman reading Infinite Jest. Sorry.
That is crazy. That women definitely read Infinite Jest. I started it at least 3 times. I've read Infinite Jest length in the first, like, by reading the first like 200 pages over and over again.
Yeah. Well, according to her, she's not only read it once. She says, I just recently reread it and loved it even more.
Well, people reread that one a lot because there's like a real cult following. But that's another like Hope Floats. Like, she's old. Is she old?
Well, her first crush is 16 Candles, which means she's not old, but like she's probably like late 40s, early 50s, I would imagine.
I mean, I just feel like a lot of these things are like most people have just like gotten over them. Like, most people aren't still like, oh, I think Infinite Jest is the best book I've ever read, and I read it like all the time. Like, I reread it to like get more meaning out of it.
No, and I don't think she's lying when she says she's read Infinite Jest more than once, but I do think it's interesting that she wants to prove something about her intellect with the book question, but yet doesn't care at all when is asked about her favorite movie. She's obviously, that's honest. Like, if her favorite, no one would lie about your favorite movie being Hope Floats, you know? Yeah. So that feels very honest. Whereas the Infinite Jest answer feels studied. Like, even if, I mean, I not to brag, but I have actually finished Infinite Jest.
Yeah, because you're a man.
Because I'm a man. But like, and I really like it, but I would definitely feel uncomfortable saying that was my favorite book, because it would say something about me.
But is it your favorite? If you were just,
I don't think I have a favorite book, honestly. Like, I feel like I love, as everyone knows, I love reading so much, but I don't feel like books stay with me very long. Like, I forget what happens in them.
I'm now proud of having like started and quit Infinite Jest like 3 times, because Bret Easton Ellis has been screaming about the fact that he's never gotten through it on his podcast. And so
well, I've never gotten through a Bret Easton Ellis book, so.
Oh, really? Well, Bret Easton Ellis books are like really short and funny and extremely violent.
I tried to read Glamorama. I was just in a bad, I don't know. I got about 20 pages in.
Why did you try to read that one?
I don't know. It sounded fun. It was about like models in New York in the 90s. It sounded right up my alley.
Yeah.
But it was impenetrable, I thought.
I read Less Than Zero and American Psycho.
Okay. I've seen both of those movies.
Well, then you get it.
The Less Than Zero movie is truly terrible.
I don't think I've seen it, but
well, that was the interview. So she loves Donabe's, Infinite Jest, and Hope Floats, and Vintner's Daughter.
Fun, actually.
It was like an eclectic interview. It was a little off the beaten path from what these interviews usually are.
Well, she sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, she created, one of the greatest products known to man. So
yeah,
there has to be something going on in that noggin of hers.
You got something upstairs.
All right, what's your worst?
My worst is, okay, so like I'm really going with like themes here this week. So staying with my issue with this like workout, this like sweat thing, I really didn't like how instead of just making it about working out, they said 6 ways to sweat. Yeah. And then one of the things was the infrared blanket. Like, I consider that to be a cheat. I'm like, I feel like you got me on a technicality there to push this blanket. And
I thought it was funny. I was like, that's the type of exercise I want to do, is that infrared blanket.
Well, I think that I see. I guess it's not for all people. I guess you're just a David Foster Wallace and I'm just a Bret Easton Ellis about it.
I guess so. It did make me, because I feel like that's such like an old fashioned, like, oh, if you have to lose 10 pounds really quick, you just like make yourself sweat in the whatever way possible.
In that I Love Lucy where she like goes to that big hot tent or whatever.
Yeah, because she has to fit into a size 16.
Well, before vanity sizing, who knows what that even means? Probably like a size 4.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But it did make me, because none of the other like there was a yoga, there was a Pilates, none of the exercise programs seemed that interesting. It all seemed like been there, done that.
Yeah.
Oh, I did notice since Lauren Roxburgh moved to New Zealand with her husband, There's been neither hide nor hair of any of her products on the site.
Wow, really?
Yeah, like you'd think that one of the 6 ways to sweat, one of them would be, Lauren's foam
Here.
roller workout or whatever. But no.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe moving to New Zealand was just like a euphemism for like being put out to pasture by Goop, and
I
she just
wonder.
Well,
They're like, oh, we
yeah.
really can't continue this relationship anymore, Lauren. But we don't want, we don't want to see you humiliated. So why don't we just all agree that you moved to New Zealand?
And she's like, okay. And they're like, we'll get you an interview in this like weird New Zealand celebrity magazine, and you can call yourself whatever. She's like, can I call myself the Body Whisperer? And they're like, yes,
Sure.
Lauren.
You can hold your head high.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Aggie and Brian will still talk shit about you
until the day you or they die, probably them, because you're in really good shape.
You're in really good shape. You have a hot New Zealand husband.
Yeah.
Okay, my worst. And this is partly my fault. I'm gonna take 50% responsibility for this, and I'll give Goop the other 50% of responsibility. But I still didn't get the $5 discounted tickets to In-Goop Health.
Good. You shouldn't get it, Brian. It's a waste of money.
So I emailed them about putting me on the wait list for the financially troubled people, or whatever their euphemism is for people that can only spend $5. And then, to their credit, they did email me saying we opened up more spots. But then by the time I opened up the email, it was like a couple hours after they emailed me. It didn't seem that crazy, but by the time I opened the email and clicked, it was sold out again.
Wow.
But then it really turns out for the best, because they announced their co-host who's hosting with Gwyneth, and it's literally my least favorite person in pop culture, Alicia Keys. So I'm like, it's better that I miss this one. She always hosts like the Graham, she hosts whatever award show all the time, and she always, and I'm, whatever, like, do your thing, like, get high or whatever, it's fine. I'm like, I don't want to like drug shame anyone, but she always just seems completely blitzed out of her mind. And I'm like, this is your job to host the Grammys. Can you like put a little effort in, please, Alicia?
Interesting. I have a totally different feeling about her. I mean, I guess I've never noticed her seeming high, but I just think that she's like the most like, she's very like generic to me.
Oh yeah, she's the original industry plant, I feel.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, I think her thing of not wearing makeup in public anymore is cool, but even that felt a little like, I mean, it's like no one does that, but it's also like she's like really pretty and she kind of can pull it off, and now it's like her thing.
Yeah, and I just, her music, I think, because, and this is like sort of a systemic sexism and racism in the music industry and the music press, but like she came out around the same time as Destiny's Child and Beyonce, and people were always comparing the two of them.
Oh, really? That's weird, because she's so much more like, she always felt like adult contemporary to me.
Yeah. And like back then, I feel like the music press, people were like, oh, Alicia Keys is making, serious music, and Beyonce and Destiny's Child are making, frivolous pop music. And I, of course, always was a Destiny's Child / Beyonce fan. And it always just rubbed me the wrong way that they would even like compare the two of them, or put Alicia Keys up on this pedestal while, and now, of course, Beyonce has the last laugh, but like also just, of course, Alicia Keys can play the piano and she can write a catchy pop song, but you can't even compare the two of their voices. Like Beyonce has a 10 times better voice than Alicia Keys.
I mean, way better. But also just like, yeah, like their whole vibe is different. Like Alicia, I mean, they're not comparable. Alicia Keys is so like, she's almost like a lounge singer, or like not like a Tony Bennett or something.
Yeah, Tony Bennett.
Or like
total adult contemporary. I mean,
contemporary, yeah.
Similar to, I feel like Pink is the other sort of pop star from that generation.
Yes, I also think Pink is really boring. Even though Pink is always flying around on a trapeze, Alicia Keys is like, I'm not going to wear makeup. Like they're doing these like wild things, but I'm still like, okay.
There's no edge, because it's like, I'm sorry, if you want to be a rock star, we need to have some edge.
Yeah, Pink also feels like an industry plant.
But then there are people that have no edge that I love, like Kelly Clarkson. zero edge. But for some
I think
reason, I
she
love
has
her.
edge. I think Kelly Clarkson does have edge because she became famous by winning American Idol, which kind of automatically makes her a little bit like working class and like a
Yeah,
little
she's definitely
gritty.
not an industry plant.
Yeah.
Unless all of American Idol is a complete psyop, which maybe
Which
it is.
it totally could be, but she's just got this like she really doesn't seem like someone who should be famous.
Wow, is that a knock on her looks, Aggie?
It's like it's not a knock on her looks, but it's like her whole vibe is just so like normal.
Yeah, she's not a glamour puss. I just think she has an extraordinary voice and she can sing pretty much anything.
I know.
I feel like she is in the category of like a Whitney or a Christina or a Mariah. Like she's on that level.
Wow. I mean, when's her Vegas residency?
See, that's the thing is like, I don't know that. I mean, I'm sure she'd be amazing to see live if you could see her in like a club where you can just listen to her voice, but she's not going to do the fireworks and this. I don't know if like a Vegas residency is the perfect place
Of
for
course.
her.
Well, look, Celine Dion is not doing.
Oh,
I
yes,
mean,
she
she's just
is.
wearing a sequin dress. She's not going to dance around or anything.
You're saying Celine Dion is not going to dance around. Have you ever seen Celine Dion perform? All she does is dance around.
Really?
She just goes cuckoo. She's like a lunatic. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But she's not. But she doesn't do like choreographed dances.
Not choreographed dances. Yeah.
She's filled with passion.
Yes, she has that. Whatever the French Canadian version of soul is, she has that in spades.
That's beautiful.
All right. Well, this isn't a music podcast. And if you like Alicia Keys, everyone has their own opinion. I'm sure she's a lovely person. She's extraordinarily talented. She's just not for me. I wish that she would not smoke so much weed before she hosted the Grammys, because the Grammys is a very serious program that should be given the respect that it deserves.
I don't think I've ever watched the Grammys.
And what is she going to talk about with Gwyneth? That's the other thing. I'm like, these people.
They're going to talk about her. They're going to talk about not wearing makeup and skincare.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Because she obviously has a really good skincare routine if she's like going on TV every day without makeup on.
True. Well, whoever is going to Ingoop Health, let us know how it is. And also, I'm actually not going to even be in town that week. I'm going to be in Cayucas, which I think I'm pronouncing right now. Someone on Instagram told me I was pronouncing Cayucas wrong. So
and isn't that the place where you said that was like the next big thing?
Well, they're saying Cambria, which I believe I am pronouncing right, because I don't think there's an alternate pronunciation for Cambria.
And you're going to be at the town over?
The one town over, yeah. So we'll see.
Pretty good. Maybe that's after Cambria. It'll be Canucas.
Yeah, Cayucas. While Gwyneth and Alicia are working, I'll be on vacation. All right.
Okay.
What was your craziest?
Okay, so now I'm moving into my other section. And this is crazy sort of because like it is crazy, but also because it makes me feel crazy, which is like when they feature this Mega Babe person, the girl who invented Mega Babe.
I love her. I never get tired of her.
I always love her too. But I'm always like, how do I feel about this, like, body positive messaging from Goop? It feels gaslighty to me. Where like they are not a body positive organization. They're not for fat people, which I am one. Like they're not for this. Like it feels like really like mind blowing when they're like, oh, now we're gonna talk about Mega Babe and like these cool products for people, for like women whose like bodies like might like touch itself or whatever, like the thigh stick or whatever. Like it's like, why are you doing this? And like it makes me feel like so condescended to, and like I just imagine people reading it and being like, yeah, great. Like what everybody looks like is amazing. Like I have to force myself to read this because I have to pretend that I care about this or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, I think Goop is, obviously like they're trying to get with the times, and, they're expanding the people that they have talk on Goop or whatever to, people of different sizes. They're doing, I think, like better job at inclusivity, you know, having more voices from, you know, Black women and women of color. So I think it's like, yeah, it's all capitalism. Like they're trying to sort of catch up with where they perceive culture is. But the lady herself, I think she seems very self-aware of her role that she's playing in whatever the body positivity movement is.
Oh
And
yeah.
I don't know, like her, because it's one of those things where I totally agree with you that it's like this sort of token fat woman on Goop that keeps coming back, and she's, you know, she's trying to make money, she's selling these products.
She has a book.
She has a book, which obviously I'm never going to read that book.
No.
But she does say, and this is actually the thing I would buy, is because any product for a man that they have on Goop, I instantly want to buy it because I'm like, thank you for noticing me.
Yeah.
But there's a new Mega Babe product called Mega Man Dry Guy Talc-Free Body Powder. So stupid.
I mean, I'll say that in addition to Craziest, this is also my buy as well.
Oh, are you buying Mega Man for Brian?
No, well, no, not the Mega Man. Oh no, sorry, it's my try, not my buy.
Okay, but this woman, what's her name? Katie Storino? Katie? Yes, Katie.
Yeah.
She says, and she's even calling herself out and saying, like, within, you know, the body positivity movement or within the fat positivity movement, it's people like her who are like, you know, white, able-bodied, you know, fat, but not like, you know, she's like a size 14. It's like the socially acceptable version of body positivity that she's even, you know, has the privilege of being in Goop. Whereas if you were, you know, 600 pounds, you know, quadriplegic, you probably wouldn't be in Goop.
Right. I think it's great that like women like her call it out. I would like to see people calling things out like that more, like the woman that we were talking about before who created like Vintner's Daughter. Like I would like to see women who like aren't already like speaking to a marginalized group to like also acknowledge their privilege, which like you do not really hear, and I don't understand why it is that way.
Yeah,
I guess they're just not as I guess like people who are coming from like already like a more marginalized place like are aware like, oh, I like this is how people are, just like have more empathy in general, like more awareness about that stuff.
Yeah, it's like it's a combination of, I think, empathy and like you know, it's your own experience, so you can speak to that, but then also it's like within Goop, within sort of economics and capitalism, you have a role to play, and like your audience for Mega Babe is, you know, fat women or women whose thighs chafe or whatever it is. So it's like you're called on to speak on that. And there's another lady we'll get to in the thing I would try, who I think it's sort of occupies a similar role.
I can't wait to hear all about it.
Yeah,
I mean, I definitely think she's cool, and I think it's a cool line, and like I like it and stuff. I just like don't trust Goop when they're like, isn't this great? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because yeah, it's like, yeah, the Vintner's Daughter person is never going to talk about body positivity or, you know, issues primarily affecting Black women or trans women or whatever it is, because it's like,
or just to say like the reason that my product is like has this reputation has a lot to do with like my place in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, where's the $5 Vintner's Daughter for financially challenged people?
Hello, I need all of these. I mean, can I at least a sample?
A sample. I do have to say though, like that shit it lasts a long time. My tolerance was building. I went up to 5 drops and then I like had to cut myself off and go back down to 4.
You had to take a step back. Yeah.
It's like benzos.
Well, maybe it'll be my little gift to myself once I'm done with my you know, Fraxel treatment.
Oh yeah, you can Afterpay it.
Then I'll Afterpay it once I'm done paying off my
your Fraxels.
My whatever. I've been Afterpaying fucking bell bottoms from that goddamn fucking store. I can't even think of what it's called right now. Someone
Forever 21.
Yeah.
You Afterpay Forever 21 bell bottoms.
You probably could.
I'm sure you could. Oh God, how depressing. Our country, our world. Where are we? What was your craziest? Do we say this yet? No.
This was my craziest. Yeah.
That was your craziest. Oh, Mega Babe. Okay. My crazy. Oh, My craziest was the fucking no fuss summer desserts.
Okay. Tell me all about
This
it.
is it's such a fuss. They call it no fuss, and yet it's the fussiest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
They tell you to do a trifle, which I get is like you don't use their oven. So that's what their definition of no fuss. You buy a pre-made cake and then you make this trifle.
Okay.
This is in partnership with our friends at Maple Hill, who have created some GMO monstrosity of sugar-free milk.
Wow.
So this is milk taken from a cow, and they say it's ultra processed to have
just leave them alone.
Just leave them alone. 0 grams of sugar. So to make this trifle, you're supposed to. Oh, and then of course, instead of you're not supposed to actually use pudding, except they actually say, remember our old friend, the chia seed? So you're making this chia pudding with the stupid sugar-free milk, and then because it's sugar-free, it tastes so goddamn bad. They tell you to put freeze-dried fruit in the sugar-free milk and then blend that up and then add the chia pudding, and you're not even at step 1 yet.
Wow.
And they call it a no fuss dessert, and this isn't even at step 1 yet.
They're sick.
So then you have to leave this chia pudding / sugar-free / freeze-dried fucking fruit milk overnight. So it's already 24 hours since you want a dessert to begin with. Then they tell you to make whipped cream from scratch, because obviously we're not doing Cool Whip. We're not,
no.
We're not.
There
Cool
might
Whip.
be sugar in it.
Yeah, there's probably sugar in it. So heavy cream, vanilla. You can sweeten it. They deign to let us sweeten it. And then it says, if you're not cooking for kids, you also should add some booze to it, which, hey, I'm not against that.
No.
Then, so that's step 2. After you've done your chia pudding, then you whip your cream. Then cake is step 3. Thank God. Store-bought is fine. You're not supposed to bake a cake, but you do pound cake, sponge cake, angel food cake, or even cookies, they say. Then step 4, or sorry, I'm not even on the steps yet. I'm still on the ingredients.
God.
Step 4 ingredient 4 is the fruit. That you have to obviously go to the farmer's market. You do your in-season fruit, apricots, pitted cherries, plums, nectarines, bananas, even supremed oranges work, blah, blah, blah. Then you toss the fruit with maple syrup. So sorry, that's sugar. Why are we doing sugar-free and then we're doing maple syrup? Like, give me a break. Then the fruit and the maple syrup, it's not even good enough. Then you add almond extract, lemon zest, cardamom, vanilla, and even a touch of rose water to your fruit.
Wow.
So then we have all the ingredients. Now we actually assemble the thing. And let me remind everyone, this is a no fuss summer dessert.
Well, I can see why, because they have it organized where it's like, here's the formula: custard, cake, fruit, and cream. But the way that they have it is so intense.
It's so intense. So then you do your step 1. Chia pudding needs to be set in the fridge. Step 2, cut up fruit. Okay, this isn't that fussy to cut up fruit, but still. Step 3, cut the cake into pieces. And step 4, make the whipped cream. Oh, and then you have to assemble. Well, so now I'm making it sound more complicated than it is, because then you just like a layer of this, a layer of that.
I mean, it's taking a lot to get to it, and especially because it's like custard, cream, and cake. Like, all of those things should be store-bought.
Yeah. Maybe it's the article.
That's not a big deal.
Yeah. Maybe I think like making it actually is probably not that big of a deal. It's just the article makes it seem so intense.
It just seems like, first of all, get the chia pudding out of it